Let's talk about what's brewing in Philly, because if you're an Eagles fan, this season has already delivered a wild mix of excitement, potential, and one very real red flag that could derail everything. Before we get into that problem, let's talk about the upside, because there's a lot of it. The Philadelphia Eagles defense, especially the young guns, is playing out of its mind right now. And that's not just hype. It's backed by numbers, film, and some seriously jaw-dropping performances. The duo of Quinton Mitchell and Cooper Dean, both second-year players, both drafted early, both absolute monsters on the field, are quickly turning into the future of this franchise. And the future might be coming faster than anyone expected. Mitchell, in particular, is starting to make his name known across the entire league. The guy is balling out at a level most veterans would envy. You want a stat line? Try this. 72 snaps in the game against the Buccaneers, more than 50 of those in coverage, in over 100-degree on-field temps. Targeted 9 times, gave up just 2 catches for 6 yards. That's not just elite. That's shut-down corner stuff, and he's doing it with swagger. He didn't just blanket his assignments. He broke up 5 passes in one game. He allowed a passer rating of 39.6 when targeted. That kind of dominance is exactly why he was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. And when Pro Football Focus dropped their grades for Week 4, guess who was at the top of the cornerback rankings? Yep, Quinton Mitchell, with a ridiculous 91.8 grade. That put him ahead of big names like Byron Murphy, Charvarius Ward, and others. He's playing with fire, confidence, and physicality, getting in quarterbacks' faces, jawing with offensive linemen, even snatching helmets off. It's a side of him we didn't see much during his rookie season, but it's here now, and it's electric. And it's not just him. Cooper Dean has been equally impressive. Both of these guys aren't just good, they're smart. The football IQ they bring to this defense is part of what makes them so special. Fangio knows it, the coaches know it, and the film doesn't lie. One play in particular from Dean stood out, and if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. Bucks try to flea flicker. Baker Mayfield under center, heavy formation, trying to sell the run, then catch the defense napping and hit a deep shot. Dean read it like a 10-year vet. He was lined up one-on-one against a dangerous vertical threat. But instead of just chasing the deep route, he made a split-second read, recognized he had safety help over the top, and peeled off to undercut the crossing route from Chris Godwin. Nearly picked the ball off, and even though it hit the turf, it was one of those plays that tells you everything you need to know about a guy. Awareness, trust, anticipation, all happening in real time. That's not just instincts. That's film work, coaching, and natural football sense coming together in one moment. Between the two of them, against the Bucks, they were targeted 18 times and allowed just 7 completions for 52 total yards. They broke up 4 passes and allowed a combined passer rating of 47. That's not just good, that's elite. And considering how young they both are, Mitchell at 24, Dean at 22, this is only the beginning. In fact, you zoom out and look at the entire Eagles defense, and something stands out. This might be the youngest defensive core in the league. We're talking about guys like Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Jair Brown, and more, all under 25. Even the veterans are barely pushing 30. This group is built to grow together, dominate together. And if they stay healthy, they could be a nightmare for opposing offenses for the next 5 to 10 years. Now let's pause for a second, because while the defense is on the rise, there's a problem on the other side of the ball. And it's one that could keep this team from hitting its true ceiling. I'm talking about the offensive line. And yes, I know, the Eagles have had one of the most respected O-lines in football for years now. Known for dominating in the trenches, setting the tone, protecting their quarterback, opening up holes in the run game. But that hasn't been the case so far this season. Through the first 4 games, this unit has looked anything but elite. In fact, it's been inconsistent, underwhelming, and at times straight-up concerning. The only position that changed was right guard, where Tyler Steen took over. But even the returning starters, guys with Pro Bowls and big contracts, haven't been playing up to their standard. The chemistry isn't there. The communication is off. Assignments are being missed, and the protection just hasn't been good enough, especially when it matters. And that matters a lot this week, because they're about to go up against a Denver Broncos defense that doesn't mess around. The Broncos are second in the league in points allowed per game, and they lead the NFL in sacks, quarterback hits, and pressure rate. That means Jalen Hurts is going to be under fire, and if this offensive line doesn't tighten up fast, it could get ugly. The pressure has especially been brutal through the interior, and that's been a major weakness so far. Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Landon Dickerson, all giving up way too much ground, way too often. And it's not just affecting the passing game. It's killing the run game, too. Saquon Barkley came into the year off a historic season. Over 2,000 rushing yards, record-setting stuff. But this year, he's getting swarmed before he even gets going. Last season, Barkley averaged almost 4 yards before first contact. This year, he's getting less than 1. That's not a Saquon problem. That's an O-line problem. What's wild is that Barkley looks like the same explosive back. He's got the burst. He's got the speed. But when he's getting met in the backfield, there's nothing he can do. Defenses are selling out to stop him, loading the box. And without the offensive line winning their matchups, the result has been a lack of those signature big runs we saw all last season. And let's be clear, the staff knows this. Jeff Stoutland, arguably the best offensive line coach in the NFL, is working to fix it. But it's going to take more than coaching. The players have to execute. Just look at the numbers. Philadelphia ranks 25th in yards before contact per carry. They're 27th in run stuff rate, 22nd in run block rate, 24th in pressure rate allowed, 26th in pass block win rate. That's not just middle of the pack, that's bottom tier. And if the goal is to repeat as Super Bowl champions, those numbers have to change. And then there's the money side of things. This isn't a cheap line. Dickerson is the second highest paid left guard in the league. Jurgens is one of the top paid centers. Lane Johnson, when healthy, is still elite, but even he's missed time. Jordan Mailata has been a bright spot, one of the highest graded linemen so far, but he can't do it alone. And Steen? Talented, but inconsistent. He's shown flashes, especially on some of Barkley's scoring runs, but the reliability isn't there yet. So when we talk about expectations for this Eagles offense, we have to be real about what's holding it back. And right now, the interior offensive line is the anchor that's dragging everything down. There's no question that the talent is there. These are the same guys that were paving the way for one of the greatest rushing attacks in the NFL just a season ago. But that dominance hasn't carried over. Instead of imposing their will, they're getting blown off the ball. Instead of creating running lanes, they're getting collapsed into. Instead of protecting their quarterback, they're giving defenders a free run right into his lap. And when that happens, it doesn't matter how dynamic your quarterback is, or how explosive your running back is, or how good your receivers are. None of it works when the line isn't right. And you can see it in Jalen Hurts. There are moments this year where he's shown flashes of what made him an MVP candidate not long ago. The deep throws, the athleticism, the command. But there's also been moments where he's clearly rattled, where the timing is off, and where the offense looks completely disjointed. A lot of that is tied to pressure, and especially pressure that comes quickly. Quarterbacks hate pressure up the middle more than anything else. Edge rushers you can work around. You can slide protection, move the pocket, bootleg, scramble. But when the middle caves in, that's instant disruption. That's a broken play before it even begins. That's what the Eagles have been dealing with far too often. This was never more obvious than during their last game. Time and time again, Hurts was forced off his spot almost immediately. The interior guys weren't holding up long enough for routes to develop. That led to quick checkdowns, forced throws, and stall drives. It also makes it nearly impossible to establish any kind of rhythm. When you can't stay on schedule, when you're constantly facing second and long or third and unmanageable, the whole playbook shrinks. Defenses know it. They adjust. And suddenly your entire offensive identity gets compromised. Then there's the run game. Last season, Saquon Barkley was unstoppable. Defenders couldn't touch him until he was already 4 yards downfield. He had the vision, the acceleration, and the blocks to turn ordinary plays into home runs. But now, he's fighting for yards the moment he touches the ball. The lanes just aren't there. The zone runs don't stretch like they used to. The inside runs get blown up, and you can see it in the numbers. Barkley went from nearly 4 yards before contact to under 1. That is a staggering drop. That's the kind of change that shifts the entire complexion of a running back season. You take away the space, and you take away his superpower. That's what the offensive line is doing right now. Not intentionally, of course, but effectively. What's frustrating is that the pieces are all still here. This isn't a team in transition or rebuilding mode. The roster is loaded. The expectations are sky high. This is a team that came into the year expecting to contend for another Super Bowl, and that window is very much open. But it's not going to stay open forever. Every year is its own opportunity. Injuries happen. Opposing teams get better. Contract come due. So when you have this much talent, this much potential, you have to capitalize. And right now, the offensive line is the one group that's falling short. There's still time to fix it. That's the good news. But time is not unlimited. With a defense this good, this fast, and this young, you want to give them an offense that can match their level. You want to put up points early, control the tempo, and give the defense the ability to pin their ears back and attack. You won't wear teams down. Instead, what we've seen so far is an offense that sputters, that leans too heavily on individual heroics, and that struggles to establish any kind of consistency. The coaching staff knows it. Stoutland has been through rough patches before, and there's no doubt he's one of the best in the business. But even he can't block people from the sideline. It's on the players now, Dickerson, Juergens, Steen, to take that next step, to clean it up, to play with more discipline, more toughness, more urgency. Because this team isn't going anywhere if the offensive line doesn't get right. And again, this is not just about Barkley or Hurts. This affects everything. The ability to run play action. The ability to hit explosive plays down the field. The ability to stay out of third and long. The ability to control the clock. The ability to respond to adversity in close games. It all starts up front. The Eagles have long been known for building through the trenches. That philosophy hasn't changed, but the execution has, and it needs to snap back into place quickly. One thing that does provide some optimism is how physical and dominant this line can still be when they get it right. We've seen glimpses. We've seen drives where they blow people off the ball. We've seen touchdown runs where Barkley doesn't get touched for 10 yards. We've seen pockets so clean that Hurts could have ordered lunch before making a throw. So it's there. The potential hasn't disappeared, but the consistency is what's lacking. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has left the sports world reeling, the Philadelphia Eagles have reportedly pulled off what could be the most shocking trade of the NFL offseason, with rumors swirling that star quarterback Dak Prescott is set to join the green and white. If true, this seismic shift would not only upend the NFC East hierarchy, but also send shockwaves across the entire league. Sources close to team insiders suggest that negotiations have been quietly progressing behind closed doors for weeks. And while no official statement has yet been released, the mere whisper of Prescott potentially leaving Dallas has ignited a frenzy among fans and analysts alike. Eagles faithful are reportedly ecstatic at the prospect of adding a proven quarterback to a roster already brimming with talent, while Cowboys supporters are struggling to fathom the possibility of losing their longtime leader. The timing of the rumored acquisition has fueled speculation even further. With training camp approaching and preseason preparations in full swing, the idea of Prescott swapping the silver and blue for green and white seems almost surreal. Social media has erupted with debates, memes, and heated discussions as fans attempt to dissect what such a move could mean for team dynamics, playoff aspirations, and even the future of both franchises. While some critics question whether the Eagles could realistically land Prescott without giving up significant assets, others argue that the potential upside is simply too tantalizing to ignore. Analysts are already conjuring scenarios in which the Eagles become immediate Super Bowl contenders, armed with one of the league's most talented signal callers and a receiving core ready to capitalize on his experience. Conversely, the Cowboys would be left scrambling to reconfigure their offense, a challenge that could define the coming season. Adding to the intrigue is Prescott himself, who has remained characteristically tight-lipped amid the swirling reports. Insiders hint that the quarterback's camp is open to exploring new opportunities, suggesting that a reunion with former coaches or a fresh start in Philadelphia could be on the horizon. If the rumors hold water, this would mark one of the most dramatic shifts in recent NFL history, a storyline that sports journalists and fans will be dissecting for months to come. As the league braces for what could be a blockbuster announcement, one thing is certain. If Dak Prescott truly dons the Eagles' colors, the NFL landscape will look very different when the season kicks off. Until then, the rumor mill is running at full throttle, and every casual comment, cryptic tweet, and insider whisper is being scrutinized as potential confirmation of a deal that could redefine the NFC East. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.